currency cannot store value. Money does store value. Okay, I have to be honest here. Jeff Clark from thegoldadvisor.com is one of my advisors and a close friend. And he really helped me out with that particular section when it was on mining and the supply. A lot of that came from Jeff. But it is interesting, this convergence of all of these factors that the geologists and the mining geologists, all of the people that work in mines, hard rock mining is not being taught anymore. These guys are old, they want to retire, and there's very few schools, and I can't remember what it is, but the percentage of degrees in engineering degrees, the mining sector makes up this tiny fraction of it. Everybody wants to go into tech. Everybody wants to go into something charming. They don't. I think it was Jeff that wrote, "Dirt, forget about it." Well, there's twice as much gold available above ground, but it really doesn't matter if there's enough people turning toward it yet, because there's basically 25 times, the population is larger. The people that can access gold you could not buy gold in the USSR or Mao's China during the last great gold rush of the bull market of the 70s, which, by the way, with the exception of cryptocurrencies, was the largest bull market there had ever been. The people don't realize how big the 70s bull market in precious metals was. By the way, when I say that gold went up 25 times and silver went up 41 times, I'm taking the intraday highs and lows, so that is the maximum potential gains. But still, that is absolutely enormous, and until cryptocurrencies came along, that was the greatest bull market of all time. Now, cryptocurrencies, some of them will do well, maybe all of them in what's coming, but there has just been a lot of suspicion cast on them with the FTX scandal and other things that have happened in that sector. I do own some cryptocurrencies, but the vast majority of the largest portion of my net worth that's in a single area is physical gold and silver. If they went up 25 times for gold and 41 times for silver back in the 70s, and then you look at the amount of gold per person, the amount of gold that's available above ground is about twice as many ounces as back then, except when you add up, there were no exchanges in Africa. South America was very poor. I remember when I was a kid, all of these commercials on TV trying to raise cash for these starving children. And so they would show starving children in Mexico, in places that are now not starving, where there are investors. There weren't any investors then. They were worried about what to get to eat tomorrow, not what to invest in. And so there's 18 times more people around the world that can access precious metals, with 55 times more currency, according to the OECD. And so, I had a crew of a researcher that would help me find all of the websites to get the data from, and then a chart maker, spreadsheet master, and then a writer, editor, proofreader. And so it was a crew of 4 people working on this. Gold is real money versus national fiat currencies. There's no nation on the earth that uses money today. And people need to start differentiating between money, because money makes, currency takes. Money is something that propels mankind forward. It's honest, it's fair. Currency is dishonest, it's fraud, and it's theft. And when you look at the way currency is created, when we used money, when we used gold, the amount of time and effort that it took to go out and prospect, find a claim, develop that into a mine the ore, refine the ore, melt it down, pour it into a bar, melt those bars and mint them into a coin, that amount of effort equaled the amount of effort that you had to work for in whatever you did to accumulate the right amount of coins of real money to be able to buy a house. And so this work was equal to the work that you had to put in, which is equal to the work that it took to cut down all of the trees, dig up all the dirt to make the copper plumbing and the cement and things, and build that house. It was a fair trade of something for something. You know, when you're buying a house, you take a piece of collateral. You find a home that you want to buy. This is my collateral. I want to borrow $1 million. The bank looks at your financial record and determines whether or not you're a good risk if you can pay this loan back. And when they say yes, they imagine $1 million worth of bank credit currency, which is reminders that it's not actual dollars in your account, at least according to the Bank of England. It's reminders that they owe you a certain number of IOUs. But national currencies steal part of your future lifetime. This is my big point, it's a tool for enslavement. Just to have them around requires your future work hours to pay on the assets that were acquired to create these IOUs. There's in chapter 4, it does explain that the entire currency system comes down to it's nothing but IOUs. And what is it that they owe us? They owe us part of our own future lifetimes. We have been monetized. This is the thing that I started with my first book, was differentiating between money and fiat national currencies, because the national currencies are not money. And people need to start differentiating these two things, calling them by their proper names. Money cannot store value currency cannot store value. Money does store value. Yeah, something big is coming. I'm getting ready for it. And the thing is, I wish I could have come up with a different title other than Great Gold and Silver Rush of the 21st Century. But I believe this is going to be the biggest gold rush in history. The amount of currency that has been created, the amount of true wealth that exists, and then all of that suddenly trying to seek a safe haven during periods of turbulence, which we are going into right now. And gold and silver have been suppressed, and some of the people that suppress, there's been convictions of people that were accused of manipulating the price of gold. Now, these are more short-term manipulations, but long-term manipulations have existed as well. But in one chapter, to those people, I say that the manipulations have allowed me to accumulate gold at a lower price than it would have been if a free market was setting the price. And I say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Enjoy your time in jail. If we didn't have the central banks, it would be an entirely different world today. The big buildings in all of the downtown areas would have different names on them. It wouldn't be bank names. The financial sector wouldn't be such a large percentage of the economy, and banking would be doing its fundamental job where it is an actual service of the economy, where it facilitates transactions and helps everybody to grow our prosperity. It would be honest banking if we had honest money instead of dishonest currency.